How did you use an Uno reverse to turn your family's rules upside down? Growing up, my parents had this twisted system where my golden child brother Jake could do absolutely nothing wrong, while I got punished for breathing too loud. Every family rule applied to me, but never to him. Jake could leave dirty dishes everywhere, skip chores, and come home drunk at 17. But if I left one cup in the sink, I'd lose my phone for a week. He crashed Dad's car twice and got it fixed with a smile. I scratched the paint backing out and was grounded for 2 months. The breaking point came when I got accepted to Harvard with a full scholarship. Instead of celebrating, my parents said they needed me to stay local and help pay Jake's community college tuition because family comes first. Meanwhile, Jake was failing every class and spending his days smoking weed in our basement. That's when I discovered their secret. While cleaning the attic for Mom, I found a box of old documents. Inside were paternity test results from when Jake was born. Plot twist. He wasn't Dad's biological son. Mom had cheated, and they'd been overcompensating with favoritism for 18 years to keep their marriage together. I made copies of everything and waited for the perfect moment. That moment came at my high school graduation party, where my parents announced to our entire extended family that I'd be staying home to help support Jake's education while he found his path. I stood up with a bright smile and said, "Actually, I have some exciting family news to share too." I pulled out the paternity test results and read them aloud to our 60 gathered relatives. Jake isn't Dad's son. Mom's been lying for 18 years and you've all been funding her affair baby's lifestyle. The room went dead silent. Uncle Mike started laughing first, then my cousins joined in. "So that's why Jake looks nothing like anyone in our family," my aunt whispered loudly. Mom tried to grab the papers, but I'd already handed copies to my grandparents who'd been wondering why their grandson had zero family resemblance. Dad just sat there staring at Jake like he was seeing him for the first time. Jake started crying and ran out, followed by Mom. Dad looked at me and said, "How long have you known?" "Long enough to realize you've been destroying our real family to protect a lie," I replied. "I'm going to Harvard. Figure out your own mess." But I wasn't finished. The next day, I called every relative who'd been at the party and told them about the college fund that had been set up for the grandchildren. Turns out, Grandpa had left $50,000 specifically for his biological grandchildren's education. Jake had been using that money for his college expenses, which were actually just drugs and video games. Within a week, the family demanded Jake return every penny he'd spent. When he couldn't, they sued Mom for fraud. She'd been forging Dad's signature on withdrawal slips from the trust fund for 3 years. The real kicker? I found out from my cousin that Mom had been telling extended family I was the problem child who was jealous of Jake's success. She'd been painting me as unstable and bitter while Jake was supposedly thriving in college. When everyone learned Jake had flunked out his first semester and had been lying about attending classes, the family narrative completely flipped. Suddenly, I was the strong one who'd endured so much, while Mom was the manipulative liar. 3 months later, my parents divorced. Dad moved in with my grandparents and started therapy. Mom moved to another state with Jake, who still thinks the family just fell apart randomly. The best part came 6 months later at my cousin's wedding. When I walked in wearing my Harvard sweatshirt, my grandfather stood up and announced to the entire reception, "This is my real granddaughter, the one who saved our family from 18 years of lies." Sometimes the best revenge is just telling the truth and watching the liar's world crumble around them.